and welcome to Constellations Chit Chat. I'm Linda Comeau, and I am interviewing people for our conference coming up, 2015 North American Systemic Constellations in San Diego in November. And today I have Barry Krost with me, and Barry's topic is on Sunday, November 15th at 2 p.m., Working in the Mind's Eye, Systemic Family as a Guided Meditation. Welcome, Barry.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to be here.
First of all, I'd like to ask you the question I ask most people. How would you describe constellations to someone at a cocktail party?
Well, after I've had my third or fourth beer, it's an interesting thing. You know, usually it's there's no like tagline for that thing. But I think normally what I say is that every family has a soul, and that soul has the consciousness or experiences of everybody that's been around. It's a little bit. I always like to describe it's like the cloud, the internet cloud. When we're born, there's this cloud, and we're born into our family. The cloud downloads the experiences of those people and some parts of them, and then we are also through our own lives uploading to that cloud. And it might be that that memory is housed in our DNA. That's one thought I have. But there's this informational cloud, and we have that with us all the time. We feel like we're individuals, but we're actually part of a collective experience. We're individual and we're collective. And so family constellations is a modern way of getting in touch with that soul, that cloud of information. Every culture has had that access. Every culture has a way of stepping into the sacred in some way. And we just, in the modern times, a lot of us don't have a tradition to step into the sacred experience. And constellations is a remarkably easy way to step in to one part of the field. There's many things that can happen inside the field, this family soul, whatever we're going to call it. There's many things that can happen, many techniques that can be used there. But Hellinger has created one technique to look at certain parts of what's in there and what we can experience. And it's an amazingly easy way to get in there and do some really amazing work. So that would be my cocktail speech. It might go on a little longer, though.
Okay, cool. And do you use constellations for self-care?
Yeah, I always have. I've always done like personal constellations. I do different things. Sometimes I'll just write a bunch of things on pieces of paper and turn them face down and move them around and flip them over. I like to play with crystals. Sometimes I'll set up a crystal spread of things and see what's going on. Sometimes I'll meditate and try to sort of get in touch with the field and sort of sit in the field and sort of see what rises up, what's true. But I've always done something. I don't do it all the time, but I usually, when I get up against some kind of challenge, I will at least write down some things on pieces of paper and just move them around just to see what shows up.
Cool. Yes, I like doing that too. Okay, so now the meaty part here. Tell us about your talk, Working in the Mind's Eye, Systemic Family Constellations as Guided Meditation.
Yeah, so Hellinger uses meditation. I've never met him in person, but I've watched lots of video. And he uses meditation quite frequently. But what really happened for me is I've been a body worker for 32 years. And when I initially did the Learn Family Constellations, in 2002, I never really did anything with them in my practice. And after I got trained with Scott Bader to be a facilitator in 2008, I still didn't think I was going to use my bodywork thing. I really tried to keep it separate, so I did constellations and bodywork. But after a while, I'd be in the middle of a bodywork session. I'd be holding a shoulder. My work is usually moving body parts into alignment, into the correct position, and allowing them to self-correct. So it's very, very similar to what we do in the constellations. And it happens very spontaneous often. And so I'd be holding a shoulder, and all of a sudden I'd start thinking about the grandfather or things. Just my constellation consciousness of how I feel the field that way would show up. And I'd have a question. All right, so tell me about your great grandfather, or tell me about this or that. And they'd say something, and I might have the client say a sentence, and boom, the shoulder would release. So that started happening more and more, enough that I just started having people close their eyes, and I would start to take them. I would, see your grandfather's in front of you. What do you notice? And start to explore with them with their eyes closed what rose up for them, and try to take them to a place of resolution. And then also my hands would be on them and then feel also what's happening physiological. So that's how it started. And then I started playing a little bit more with people sitting in a chair. And then I did a seminar with what's her name? Oh, Ursula Frank Bryson, and she does a lot of work like that. She actually has a book, In the Mind's Eye, and she talks and she has some videos. So she was showing some other ways different from Hellinger how to do that. So when I came back from that workshop in Seattle with her, I was like emboldened to start to do more and more just constellations with In the Mind's Eye with eyes closed, and either over the phone or with my clients. And so I just have been doing it more and more, and I still do it on the table. It's something I do in about a third of my bodywork sessions. I'll usually have them say a sentence or a word, or have them close their eyes and see something. It's become a regular part of my healing practice. I don't really know how to keep it out anymore. So when the conference came up, I just thought I would just show what I know. I don't think I'm an expert at it yet, but I thought it's an easy thing to do. That's what's cool about it, is it doesn't really take an extra skill set from what we already know. Whatever we can do as facilitators in a group situation, we can apply it to the mind's eye. There are some differences, though, and so my workshop is going to be really about what does it take to do it in the mind's eye? What are the differences there? Because there are some things you have to adjust for with the person having their eyes closed, and it's just you and them, and they're sitting in a chair and you're sitting with them. So mostly that's what I'm going to focus on, is just giving people enough ideas that they can go off and play on their own. I really don't know that I figured it all out, though. I'm gotten pretty good at it, I think, just through practice. And so my goal is to provide a practice opportunity and provide some information about some things I'm thinking about, and let everybody go run off and do it. I really hope people will use this mode more frequently. It's very good to do. I often do it. I do a lot of meetups, and so I'll start my meetup with a group meditation. Same thing. I have everybody in the room, and I'll just propose. Let's see, everybody sees a perpetrator in front of them that's in their family system somehow, and we'll just go through a thing. And then what happens with that is everybody has an experience at the beginning of the workshop of the work, and they're experiencing the orders of love, and they're experiencing the field together. It's getting the group together, and then someone usually gets set off by something I've suggested during the group meditation. So often the first personal piece of work is someone that said, I got really upset during that thing, and that really kind of got me going. And often a few days ahead of time, I'm thinking about what to set up, and I'm already sensing somehow unconsciously what the issues are going to be that day. So it's been a real nice opening thing for my meetups and my group one-day workshops to start with a meditation like this, get everybody. And I also like the idea that everybody, no matter whether or not they get a piece of work, they've all had an experience right up front of the workshop in the work, and they get a sense of what orders of love are and how it rises up and what the experience in the field is like together. And I just think it's really cool.
Definitely. Yes. I also start with a short meditation and making sure people are in their bodies. And
yeah, and you can add those that are normal meditative kind of things about, you can do relaxation techniques, and you can do all that stuff. I'm calling it guided meditation. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't know another word for it, because we're really not, I'm not so much suggesting what they should experience. I'm really trying to have it rise up in them and help guide them through their own internal images. So if to some degree I'm trying to tune into what's already inside of them and help them see it, but I'm trying not to suggest too much. I mean, I do have to suggest some things to kind of create the experience for them, but really if they can take over and see more of it themselves, that's actually the goal. And then after the work, some of my clients are actually doing this at home as their own self-care. So you asked me earlier about my own self-care. I'm getting my clients to do a guided meditation at home, going into their mind's eye, putting their parents in front of them or some issue in front of them, and just noticing what they notice, how they experience, how they feel in their bodies, what do they see, what happens if they approach, what happens if they move away, and start to play around with the idea that they can have their own encounter with their family system in their mind's eye whenever they need to as their own self-care. And not a lot of people are doing it yet, but I'm getting more and more clients to at least play around with it.
Barry, do you realize that there is a CD in the works for you?
Well, there's a CD probably, and a book, and probably a PBS special, and HBO, and I think there really is. There probably is some stuff like that. We'll see what happens. I've been busy planning this conference with a crew of other 12 people, so there hasn't been much time to do anything else. But it's exciting because I never planned to do this. I didn't decide one day I'm going to do guided meditations. It's actually not my kind of self-concept of myself. Like I say, it showed up in my sessions, and it's just become such an easy tool. I did one the other night that was amazing, and then they're very short. That's the thing, is you can do these things in 5 or 10 minutes. I did a 10-minute one the other night. Reconnecting someone with their mother. She had interrupted movement towards her mother. We walked her into her mother's arms. It was just an amazingly beautiful moment for her. She was not overwhelmed. She took it in, she felt it, and then I encouraged her to continue to work with this idea of the feeling of moving into her mother's arms, her mother holding her holding her mother, and really feeling it as an internal image that's hers, not something I gave her, but hers. And it was fabulous. And I find this really fun to do. I'm always, whenever there's an opportunity to do one of these, I'm ready to go.
That's great. Yeah, I think we should do another video sometime.
Sure.
Lead us through a few things.
Okay.
Great. Well, anything else to add?
No, I hope everybody's coming to the conference. We've put a lot of time into it. We think it's going to be the best conference we've had. We hope so. This is the second one I've helped organize. And we thought about everything that we can think of. And the Bahia is going to be an interesting place to do it. And I think people are going to have a hard time choosing between the different sessions.
Yes.
I'm sure people are going to be mad at me. I'm program chair. They're going to be mad at me that they had to choose this one over this one because they want to go to everything. It's like a gigantic feast of constellations. And it's going to be pretty amazing what's all in one place. And the people who are in one place, it's getting very exciting. It's about 10 days out here. It's getting exciting.
I haven't done it except to the couple I interviewed yesterday, Jamie and Peter Faust. But maybe we should suggest that speakers buy a tripod and videotape with their phones their talks, and then perhaps we could see other talks because, there's so many great people coming. Well, I want to thank you very much for your time this evening, and I look forward to seeing you again in person. So you have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon, Barry.
Thank you, Linda.
Okay, and Barry's talk again is Sunday, November 15th, 2 p.m., Working in the Mind's Eye, Systemic Family Constellations as Guided Meditation. Thanks again, Barry.
Thank you.